There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, that we do this show. The reason why we do this show is because we want to utilize the power of social media in order to break the machine, in order to bring to you the intelligent analysis and the true insight of what we see when we look at the DOJ, the FBI, and what they are doing right now to Donald Trump. We have, of course, the affidavit right here for searching Donald Trump's home, for taking his private passports, privileged documents, for cracking open his safe, for rummaging through Melania Trump's unmentionables, and for violating his civil rights. Now, why would we trust the FBI? Well, I mean, they don't give us any reason to. Somebody at the FBI has a highlighter and a ruler. Why would we trust the FBI? Our dear friend, a friend of this program, somebody that I know and somebody that I love, Molly Hemingway, teed this up very nicely on Fox News just seconds ago. I want you to take a listen.
Who should be trusted in any dispute of this nature is the FBI. The FBI admitted already that they had fabricated evidence to go get a search warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. They have done very little other than meddle in elections, going back to the 2016 election. They meddled in that election in two ways, both by weaponizing Hillary Clinton's bought and paid for Russia collusion hoax, but also by downplaying the problems posed by Hillary Clinton. In 2018, they'd already known for a year that there was nothing to the Russia collusion hoax, at best, if they ever believed it, and yet they had that Mueller probe going on and on for years to meddle in that election. In 2020, we just had Mark Zuckerberg admitting that the FBI had told him to suppress information, and you had all those intelligence agents falsely claiming that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, and now they're meddling in this election too. I mean, everyone knows that the Democrats control everything in D.C. Their policies are deeply unpopular, and so they're doing this raid in order to meddle in this election and then also in the subsequent one. This is a disaster for the FBI, and people in D.C. can pretend like these leaks and these court filings or anything different than what we've experienced since they began their war against Trump. But I think most of America says enough is enough, and they need to stop.
Need to stop is what our dear friend Molly Hemingway says. Molly Hemingway is a mother. She has an incredible family. She's a writer at The Federalist. She is detailing how the FBI has meddled in elections going back to 2016 and most likely before. But what we know of right now, that the FBI has always suppressed information that could hurt Democrats electorally and have always, I'm talking about in the last 8 years, have utilized the power, the awesome power of the FBI and federal law enforcement in order to harm, hurt, harass, sabotage, and kneecap Republicans at the polls. Do they have a right to do this? Well, of course not. And the FBI has had to plead guilty to falsifying evidence. They have egg on their faces. No one's gone to prison yet, unfortunately. This should hopefully happen with John Durham. We'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But now they have finally crossed the Rubicon. Was it worth it? They've raided a president's house. Our dear friend Mike Davis, who is a legal scholar and expert, was on Fox News just moments ago talking about how, of course, they don't have the legal right to do this. Of course, Donald Trump is the executive, and the documents that they're going after, they have no legal right to touch. And Donald Trump has every legal right to have. Now, I'm getting somewhere with this. I just want to set it up because where I'm getting to is a piece of incredible archival footage that was just released, proving what we've known all along. Let Mike Davis cue this up, and I'll let you know Mike Davis is going to join us live later on in the show. In just a few minutes, Mike Davis will be live. This is just bombshell stuff. Check it out from Mike.
They say he may have stole or misused government property under the Presidential Records Act and other statutes. That's just not possible. There's a 2012 decision by an Obama judge that former presidents can take personal records with them when they leave office. So there goes the obstruction allegations. It's legally impossible to obstruct non-crimes like they're trying to investigate here.
So they're going to say that Donald Trump obstructed an investigation because they wanted documents back that belong to the government, yet Donald Trump has a right as the president to, one, classify and declassify anything he wants, and also has a right to have a personal copy of these documents. Now, this is law that has been litigated. We've seen cases be tried against Bill Clinton and his filthy sock drawer. Judicial Watch wanted to get tapes that belonged to Bill Clinton, recorded during his presidency, and the judge laughed him out of the courtroom. Judicial Watch never challenged this, and Bill Clinton still has every single piece of personal property that he wanted to from his presidency. Never had to share it with the archives, never had to share it with Judicial Watch. This is standing law. So what is it exactly that they want? And why would they want these classified documents? Well, you saw the leak today. You saw them chuck these documents onto the floor today, a box of documents. This is sort of what it looked like.
You mentioned that photograph. It's the first photograph we've seen of documents taken from Mar-a-Lago. They're labeled secret, top secret, and SCI, which means sensitive compartmented information among the highest levels of classification. They're shown mixed in with a box that shows a framed magazine cover of the former president. And to be clear, these items were in a box, in a carton inside Trump's office at Mar-a-Lago, taken out by the FBI and then photographed. The document goes on to say, as an initial matter, the former president lacks standing to seek judicial relief, meaning a special master or oversight as to presidential records, because records do not belong to him. The Presidential Records Act makes clear the United States has complete ownership, possession, and control of them. His team wants that neutral third-party arbiter, but DOJ says it's not needed. Meanwhile, it's up to Judge Eileen Cannon tomorrow. She's going to be hearing arguments in person at federal court, West Palm Beach. I'll be there, from the Trump team, from DOJ, over this idea of a special master.
So let's see exactly what happens in this case. Will Donald Trump get a special master? Allegedly, the judge is signaling that he will get a special master and that these documents will be taken essentially from the FBI, from these corrupt government institution and law enforcement agencies, and will be seen by somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight, for lack of a better term. Now, who does have a dog in the fight? Now, this is finally getting to the question. What were they after? What were they after in these documents? What was it? What was it? They took them out. They threw them on the floor. So what was it? Man, I feel really bad for the janitors of this studio, because I'm every show I'm throwing documents. By the janitor of the studio, I mean, well, myself, my wife, Royce, sometimes. What were they after? What they were after was simple. The declassified documents of the Russiagate, Russia collusion hoax that was staged on Donald Trump. This hoax implicated the FBI. This hoax implicated Barack Obama, implicated Hillary Clinton, and implicated Joe Biden. Now, according to Kash Patel, who we love, this is the stash of documents, what Trump had, secret documents about how Obama colluded with the Hillary Clinton campaign at the request of Joe Biden in order to utilize this hoax in order to sabotage Donald Trump. Kash Patel saying that these are the documents that have yet to be released, they've been declassified, have yet to be released, that Donald Trump was keeping in the craw, and according to whistleblowers, Donald Trump was going to use in a 2024 run for president. Go ahead and listen.
Well, the current FBI director, Chris Wray, was the FBI director when we ran the Russiagate investigation, and he had the opportunity then to expose all the corruption at the FBI, and he failed, and he's been covering up since. Look, we said since the beginning, we got out 60% of the documents for the Russiagate investigation. 40% remained. President Trump declassified those specific documents, and this entire raid on his house, I believe, was to prevent the disclosure now that the government gangsters are back in charge of their corrupt activities from Russiagate on down, because now that they have an open FBI counterintelligence investigation, they will shield any release of documents because they will say we have an open investigation. Congress has a lot of work to do, and I'm glad whistleblowers are coming forward. They need to be doing so in droves.
So this is Kash Patel, the person who worked on the Russiagate declassification, the person who worked with Devin Nunes in order to expose Russiagate and what it was, which is a Hillary Clinton bought and paid for DNC apparatchik hoax that was utilized and weaponized by federal law enforcement in order to sabotage a duly elected president of the United States and to rip power away from you, the people who elected him. It was a venomous, sick, disgusting trick played on the American people, and it kneecapped your president for 3 years. Should make your blood boil. Should make every American's blood boil. Our blood is boiling. Yet here we are today, and we see a clip like this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to play you is an old footage of Donald Trump. Old footage of Donald Trump talking about something we have yet to have seen. We've seen a press release about Donald Trump saying that he's going to declassify the Russiagate documents and investigation. We've seen Donald Trump tweet about it. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the ancient footage. It seems ancient because the news cycle is like not 24 hours, more like 24 seconds these days. Donald Trump standing before the media as the helicopters whirl on his way to Japan in a trip where Donald Trump was heading out to Japan. Donald Trump standing before the media saying, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to break some news to you. I am declassifying every single document as it pertains to Russiagate, as it pertains to the hoax that was launched to entrap me and my campaign and to kneecap, like Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding, my presidency, to break us. Donald Trump, old archival footage, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is saying these documents are declassified. And they're my personal documents. Check it out.
So we want to be very transparent. So as you know, I declassified everything they want. I put it under the auspices of the Attorney General. He's going to be in charge of it. He's a great gentleman and a highly respected man. So everything that they need is declassified, and they'll be able to see how this hoax,
So Donald Trump, there in that clip, is saying everything is being declassified. Everything. Everyone's going to be able to see how the hoax played out. Everyone is going to be able to see exactly what was launched against me in order to destroy my campaign, in order to destroy me as a president, in order to have an insurance policy, as Peter Strzok called it in his text messages to Lisa Page, in order to have an insurance policy to, if Donald Trump wins, well, then we have something to destroy him with. And Kash Patel was on the show today, earlier this morning, saying, this is exactly what's happening. These documents and how they were strewn across the floor, they look staged. This is an illegal raid. The documents, Donald Trump has every right to have, and the FBI is now so desperate that they are taking photographs of his office as an insurance policy and staging evidence. What do you make of this photograph? This is the start of the show. We've been raging about it. Perhaps you can illuminate for us what happened here, because to us, it looks like, if you can see on the screen right now, it looks like not only did they stage the documents by chucking these nuclear codes onto the ground, but they also dropped a Time magazine cover in there. Knock, knock. What's going on here? Please, we need illumination for Kash Patel.
So first of all, it is staged. I wasn't there. I don't know if that's how they found him, but I doubt it. And those red and yellow things that you see on the floor are cover sheets. Those aren't classified. They're saying they're supposed to be used when you identify classified documents, but there's nothing on those cover sheets or any of the underlying documents which have white pieces of paper on them.
So Kash Patel is saying, wait a second, these are staged images that the FBI is utilizing in order to try and drum up the case that Donald Trump was doing something naughty. Again, this is Blue Anon, LARPing, fan fiction for the true crime podcast Lululemon pant believer Soul Cycle leftists who have been hoping to get Trump for the last 6 years. And boy, they got him now. We have a single request for the Trump campaign before we bring in Mike Davis, our guest tonight, and that is release the tapes. Please, for the good of you are in an information war right now. Release the tapes. You must release the tapes of the FBI rummaging through Mar-a-Lago. You are in the midst of an information war. Eric Trump says that he has the tapes. You must release the tape. We got to see these guys chuck these documents on the floor. Eric Trump says they got the tapes.
Now, Donald Trump, for him.
We're
90 days out, Sean, from the midterms. Yeah. It's not surprising. This timing is not surprising, and it's backfiring on these people.
Will you still have the surveillance tape? Is that correct? Are you allowed to share that with the country?
Absolutely, Sean, at the right time. And your body cam point was spot on. That's why cops wear body cams. They don't tell you to turn off cameras. They want transparency, and that's not what happened here.
And you know for a fact they asked for the cameras to be turned off.
They asked for the cameras to be turned off.
Wow. All right. Eric Trump. Unbelievable time.
Unbelievable times. Unbelievable times. Somebody joining the program to make sense of all of it is a person who understands unbelievable times. He's been through his share of leftist hoaxes, especially as it pertains to Brett Kavanaugh. I like beer. I like the Devil's Triangle. I'm a boofer. Mike Davis knows it all. Mike Davis joins the program now, legal expert and scholar, founder of the Article 3 Project. Mike, come on. Mike, what's up? He's spicy. He's hot. He's hot right now. He's fresh, not just because he's a ginger, because he's fresh off of Fox News. He's on fire. Mike Davis, you saw the throwing of the documents onto the floor. They mazel toved these documents. It might have been a Greek FBI agent. Who knows? Could just be his culture. Is this how Donald Trump keeps his documents? You just chuck them on the floor? Is this, you've worked with Donald Trump very closely. You got 3 of his Supreme Court nominees across the finish line. Did you walk into the Oval Office where there's stacks of papers everywhere like a hoarder? Is that where the classified documents are kept? You can tell us.
And it shows, Ben, that the whole point of the Biden Justice Department putting out this photo was to make Trump look worse than he was. This is part of a pattern. This is part of a pattern with the Biden Justice Department. We saw Attorney General Merrick Garland leak to Newsweek that he didn't have any involvement. He didn't personally approve the raid. That's nonsense. That was a lie. They leaked out that Trump had nuclear documents. That's nonsense. That's a lie. They leaked out that President Biden and his White House didn't have advanced knowledge of this raid. That is complete nonsense. It's a lie. President Biden had to waive President Trump's claim of executive privilege, and so Deputy Counsel to the President, Jonathan Sue, did this on behalf of President Biden. And so it's just constant lies and leak out of this Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, and these the corrupt National Security Division at Main Justice and the corrupt counter-espionage section at the FBI. These people are corrupted to the core. If you look at that filing with the court, they do note that this is not how Trump kept these records, that they're the ones who staged these records like they did. But of course, they did this knowing that the left-wing media that puts this picture out there and the picture goes viral is not going to make that distinction.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. You can hear the sound in Georgetown of everyone reaching for their bottle of Xanax in order to celebrate that they finally got Trump. Did they get Trump here? Is this it, Mike? This is the culmination of everything they've been wanting, right?
This is so silly. When I read the government's response to Donald Trump's motion for special master, it confirms what I have been saying since day one of this raid, and that this is an unprecedented, unnecessary, and unlawful home raid on a former president. It was lawless because President Trump absolutely had the constitutional right to declassify anything he wanted. He had the absolute statutory right under the Presidential Records Act to have these records in Mar-a-Lago, and Congress contemplates that presidents have classified records. So even if these records are classified, which they're not, he declassified them. Not only with what you said, Ben, there's actually a January 19th, 2021 declassification memo from President Trump and a January 20th, 2021 order from the chief of staff to the bureaucracy saying that President Trump declassified these Russian collusion crossfire hurricane records. They're clearly classified, or they're clearly declassified. So there's no question here that these are declassified. The president has former presidents get from Congress, they get federally funded staff, they get security clearances for the former president and the staff, they get secure office space, including SCIFs for these classified records, they get Secret Service protection to guard the former president and the office, including these records. These records were safe. There's no allegation or evidence that they got into the wrong hands, unlike Hillary Clinton's illegal home server when she was the Secretary of State, where foreign governments hacked our most classified secrets. And Hillary Clinton was not the president of the United States. She never will be. So she can't claim the commander-in-chief power that Trump can here. She also can't claim the Presidential Records Act that Trump can claim here. There's absolutely zero legal basis for this raid. There's zero legal basis for any charges against President Trump. This is part of a campaign to get Trump, because they will not accept the result of the election in 2016. And they were going in to get Crossfire hurricane records because they were so damaging to Biden, Obama, Hillary, Clapper, Susan Rice, the FBI, the intel community. And that's not a conspiracy theory. The Biden Justice Department leaked that to Bill Orkin at Newsweek.
So a couple things, a slight correction, because we like to be esoteric on this show. If you get enough Chardonnay into Hillary Clinton and you point her in the direction of the woods and she can wander through the woods, she does think she's president. And it'll be very tough to convince her, okay? Enough oaky Chardonnays and enough bottles of Xanax, man, she's there. She's ready to go. Do you believe that they will be victorious in all of this? What we are seeing start to coalesce is this idea that they indict Trump, they get that headline. So this is all about headline creation, right? In a captured, vertically integrated corporate media zeitgeist that is controlled entirely, stem to stern, by the left. They indict Trump, and then they drag him to D.C., and they finally get a D.C. jury of frothing at the mouth Bluanons to indict him. Is that a possibility here?
That was definitely what was going to happen before there was this blowback from this raid. So I think the Biden Justice Department is pausing, but I think that they absolutely want to indict him. Like you said, you go to a D.C. district court where it's a uniparty judge with a jury that's 95% Democrat, and the other 5% of Republicans are Trump-deranged rhino lunatics like Liz Cheney. Then it goes to the D.C. circuit, which Obama stacked with left-wing radicals. This is lawless what's happening. So you're going to have the Supreme Court step in and fix this if this goes the criminal route. And I actually think Democrat-appointed justices like Justice Kagan, Elena Kagan, would actually step in and pause on this, because this is so much bigger than Trump. This is very damaging to the presidency. So what Trump needs to do is preempt all this, which is what he's doing with Judge Cannon down in Florida. It's a Rule 41G motion under the federal rules of criminal procedure. It's a motion to get back his property. And as part of that, you tee up these legal arguments that we've been talking about. The president, as commander-in-chief, has the constitutional power to declassify anything he wants, as confirmed by the 1988 Supreme Court case, Department of Navy versus Egan. The president has the absolute sole statutory power under the Presidential Records Act to make personal any presidential record he wants. He also has the right under the Presidential Records Act to keep these records in Mar-a-Lago. There's no deadline for him to turn them over to the bureaucrats at the archives, even if they are presidential records, and there's not a criminal component to the Presidential Records Act. So that the government theft, destruction, misuse of government property that they're alleging is not even applicable to the President of the United States. It's the Presidential Records Act. So you have two non-crimes. You cannot legally obstruct justice on investigations of non-crimes. The Justice Department doesn't have the power to investigate non-crimes. And then they went to this Trump-deranged judge, magistrate judge in Florida, Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart, who issued this illegal on its face general warrant for 8 years of presidential records. This judge just recused from President Trump's civil lawsuit versus Hillary Clinton on June 22nd because he was biased. He had a 2017 Facebook post bashing Trump. He is biased under 28 USC 455A, Canon 2, Canon 2A of the judicial canons. Somehow this bias magically went away, and Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart signed off on this unprecedented, unnecessary, unlawful, on its face home warrant of a former president. This is not going to fly.
So, yeah, I mean, too bad for Bruce Reinhart that the Lolita Express is no longer flying, because, boy, he'd be rewarded with so many special trips to Little St. James. What a monster. These people are complete monsters. I mean, I guess it does beg the question, as you saw what happened with Kavanaugh. I think a lot of us thought that would be some of the worst smut that we could see thrown at someone. This is topping every single thing I've ever seen them throw at a conservative. You've been in the trenches. Your thoughts?
Look, it's Teflon Don. He's going to come out ahead on this. And they know that President Trump if he runs again, he's going to win the nomination and he's going to win the White House. They know that. And that's why they are terrified. And this is a desperate move by the Biden Justice Department. Attorney General Merrick Garland said he deliberated for weeks. before he authorized this warrant, they judge shopped. They went to this biased magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhardt. If Trump's records were so damaging to our national security and they were so fearful that they were going to get into the wrong hands, why did they wait? Why did the Biden administration wait 18 months to go get them? Why did Attorney General Merrick Garland deliberate 4 weeks before he authorized this home raid? Even when they got this illegal home raid from this biased magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhardt, why did they wait 3 days to execute? This does not make sense, other than if you understand the purpose of this raid was to go get the declassified personal copy of Trump's Crossfire Hurricane Russian collusion documents that are so damning politically and legally on Obama, Biden, Hillary, Susan Rice, James Clapper, FBI intel community.
So I know it's late, and I appreciate very much. I know you've been it's like impossible to not look at my phone and see Mike Davis in a headline or on TV or on social media right now. You are everywhere, dude, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I do want to go back to one final question, something you said in the earlier response as it pertains to the FBI saying, we're going to pump the brakes here. Do you really believe that? You think that the backlash has been big enough for them to say, this pan's a little hot. We ain't going to grab it?
This is a tactical retreat. They absolutely want to indict Trump. They want to take him off the playing field for 2024 because they know Trump will beat them like a drum in 2024, and that's what they're terrified of.
And so ultimately, you think that Trump will be victorious here?
Yeah, what needs to happen? Trump is going to go on offense, and that is with his civil lawsuit with Judge Cannon down in Florida, the Southern District of Florida, an Article 3 judge. He teed up these legal issues. You'll get it decided by Judge Cannon. It will go to the 11th Circuit, where you're going to have reasonable judges instead of a criminal case in the uniparty D.C. District Court with the Trump deranged jury and the left-wing radicals on the D.C. Circuit. So Trump needs to go on offense with this civil lawsuit, and he absolutely 100% will be victorious on these legal issues. He has Supreme Court case law and an Obama-appointed judge on the D.C. District Court, her decision directly on point. There is, no matter what they are alleging against President Trump as it relates to the Espionage Act or the theft, destruction, misuse of government records, as a matter of law, it is legally impossible for President Trump to have violated the Espionage Act or any of those statutes.
Trump on offense. We are looking forward to that. We want them to release the tapes of the FBI raid. Final question, would you advise this?
Would I advise, I'm sorry?
The release of the tapes of the raid of the FBI, because if they are unmentionables, I think people. I think that it's as you said. It seems like this seems like a tactical retreat. This seems like a public relations move.
Well, yeah, I would generally, as a political matter, I'd say yes. Release the tapes. Transparency is good here. As a legal matter, I'm worried that if Trump does that, they're going to try to say somehow he's obstructing the investigation by doxing the personal identity of these FBI agents. So if he does release this tape, he should blur out the faces and the names of the people who were involved.
Mike, you know they were all double and triple masked. Come on, man. They work for the FBI.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Davis, thank you for being on the program. God bless you, man. Amazing. What a killer, dude. He's everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Davis said it best, Trump on offense. And that's why I want to announce right now, for the first time, Donald Trump Jr. will be joining us to go on offense 11 a.m. on Friday morning. 11 a.m. on Friday morning, Donald Trump Jr. live right here in this space, ready to go. What is the plan next? Trump on offense. The fight against the FBI. Where does it stand? What's happening inside of the Trump family? Donald Trump will illuminate all of it for us. And we want answers, and we're going to get them. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that salt and pepper beard on this program. And man, Don Jr. is on fire right now. We've been in touch with the staff, and we're very, very excited about it. God bless all of you. We are so pumped for this moment, because this moment is why we build this platform. This moment is why we build. We build up to this moment so that we can deliver the news and deliver insight like that. Mike Davis saying Donald Trump's going to win this thing. He's going to win it walking away. There's going to be another victory for Trump. It's going to be a tactical retreat for the FBI. So, ladies and gentlemen, massive times, biblical times, times you'll tell your grandkids about. Yo, remember when they raided a president and chucked his files on the floor? We're living in it. Hope you're enjoying it. I certainly am. My name is Benny Johnson. This has been a special edition of The Benny Show. See you tomorrow.